Yes, you are.
She said doing some of the last. I've just got. If you enjoy this kind of performances, consider donating.
Welcome to tonight's performance of Play Out Loud, readings of new plays in development. Before we get started tonight, there are a few notes and acknowledgements that I'd like to go over with you. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that as a New Brunswick company, the land on which we are gathered tonight and that which our festival participants are drawn from is the traditional unceded territory of the Wolastoqey, the Mi'kmaq, and the Passamaquoddy peoples. Next up, there's a few people that we do have to say a giant thank you to for enabling us to do the festival this year, starting with our funders and sponsors. They are the Province of New Brunswick through the Department of Tourism, Heritage and Culture, the Government of Canada through the Department of Canada's Heritage's Building Communities through Arts and Heritage Program, the City of Fredericton, Arts New Brunswick, the University of New Brunswick, and Downtown Fredericton Incorporated. Another thank you to tonight's host and our venue partner for the festival, Theatre New Brunswick, where we are staging and live streaming many performances in our festival lineup. We're extremely grateful to Theatre New Brunswick for hosting us this year, as because of all of this, we were concerned that we weren't going to be able to find a venue. Speaking of which, our festival is clearly very different than it has been in previous years, but we're absolutely thrilled to be here tonight, performing for both a small audience gathered with us here live, as well as those of you who are watching at home. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and continuing to support us and support the performing arts, especially here in Fredericton. It's so important that we do so in such a trying and challenging time. This year, all of our shows are free of charge, but if any of you would like to make a donation to help support the work of the festival, you can do so either online at npacts.com, or for those of you who are here live with us tonight, there will be a donation box on the way out. As well, please do go to our website to find out about other shows that we've got in the festival. This year, we're excited to present 14 excellent new plays from New Brunswick, both live and online, and we still have many chances to catch some of the others. We'll be back here tonight at the Open Space Theatre on Thursday night and Saturday afternoon for more of the Play Out Loud readings of the winners and runners-up from our one-act and high school playwriting contests. We'll have 2 more performances of the winners of our 10-minute playwriting contest, Wednesday and Friday nights, starting at 7:30 in Barrack Square. And finally, we have 1 more performance of our very special, very experimental digital main stage production, Space Girl by Jean-Michel Cliche, which is streaming online to close the festival Saturday night at 7:30. I have seen it. I sincerely recommend that you don't miss it. Tonight, we're excited to present readings of 3 new plays. We're going to start with the winner of our middle school playwriting competition for this year, Myrtle by Axel Kelly Squirrels, followed by Samantics by Alex Dawson, the runner-up to our high school playwriting competition. These plays will run about 30 minutes, and then there will be a short talkback with the playwrights led by our festival dramaturg, Vern Thiessen, who has mentored all of our dramatists in their festival this year. He's done so from Alberta through the wonders of Zoom, because unfortunately the pandemic has meant that he was not able to join us here in Fredericton. Following that, we'll take a short break and then come back to our final play of the evening, Every Apple in the Orchard by Noah Dees, one of the 2 winners of our notable act playwriting competition our one-act playwriting competition for this year, which will also be followed by a talkback. We would like to advise in advance that Every Apple in the Orchard contains explicit language, adult themes, partner abuse, and sexual violence, and therefore may not be suitable for all audiences. As well, as a note pertaining to the pandemic, you will see actors getting within 6 feet of each other. Fret not, cast members in the production are in a bubble. Casting was very interesting this year, to say the least. Just a few health and safety notes. Maintain physical distancing, so we ask that you please remain in the seats that you've entered in, that you're sitting in now. If you leave the theatre at any point, to use the washroom, and when you leave tonight, we ask that you please don your masks. And at the end of the night, instead of all leaving at once, we're going to do it in a controlled fashion where we leave by rows. Lastly, I'd like to ask that you please silence or turn off your mobile devices. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show, everybody. Myrtle by Axel Kelly Squirrels. Julie sits at a desk reading from her mother's old journal.
Dear Diary, it's Myrtle. I have a secret for you. Can you keep it? I'm writing a book. It's called Adventures with Mr. May. It's about a boy who goes on a trip with a cricket. I'm having a lot of fun writing it. I find it very compelling. Well, doesn't every artist find their own work compelling? Maybe. I've heard a lot of artists find their work difficult to read or look at, and I suppose I'm that way, but really I don't hate most of my older work. Is that bad? Diary, do you know if that's bad? I hope not. I love my work and really want it to go somewhere. But I know I'm only young, and someday I can look back on it and wonder how it could ever be that bad. That'll be a fun comparison. Goodbye, Diary. Myrtle Maud has said all she can and must leave now. Thank you for listening. Ah, she was so young and optimistic. I guess that's before life slapped her in the face. Dear Diary, it's Myrtle. The book isn't going so well. I dream of the day when I will walk through the bookstores with my future children and point out my book and tell them, I wrote that, and finally have something to be proud of. Sadly, now I'm doubting if I can ever finish the book. Will my future children have something to be proud of me for? Mr. Mays was going somewhere, but now I'm having awful writer's block, and I'm thinking maybe this story wasn't meant to be. I wish I could ask my future self if the book ever made it. I've been working on it for 5 years now. Why did little 15-year-old me think I could make it in a big world of authors? As a matter of fact, why did 18-year-old me think I could make it? Goodbye, Diary. Myrtle Maud sends her best regards. Thank you for listening. Here's where life slapped her. Don't worry, Mama. I'm proud of you. Dear Diary, it's Myrtle. Today, I'm officially 20 years old. You, Diary, are now 5 years old. Today, Nicholas and I went to the park and fed the birds. It was quite the relaxing afternoon. I'm so glad to have a brother like him who will spend my 20th birthday with me in nature. The book is going well. I'm trying other styles of writing, and it's also intriguing. I love reading old books and rewriting my stories in their style. I'm quite fond of trying to illustrate like Beatrix Potter, although I can never get it quite right. Later today, the family and I will be going to dinner. I haven't been in several years. I'm so excited. Although Adventures with Mr. May is going well, it's needing a few revamps. The older parts are, to put it easily, horrendous. Nicholas has been reading my stories, and he told me he's really quite impressed. Thank you, Diary, and goodbye for now. Gosh, Uncle Nick used to be nice. So life slapped both Mom and Nick in the face. Dear Diary, it's Myrtle. I'm truly so excited to tell you, Diary, that I am soon to be Mrs. William Newton. Yes, I'm getting married to Will next summer. I can't wait to tell all my reading club friends about him. Will has promised that he will do all he can to help me with my books. Isn't he wonderful? He's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I'm glad to call him my husband-to-be. Ah, yes, the books, they are going well. Plural? Yes. I now have 2 books on the go. William has promised to help with my second book, a collection of fairy tales by Myrtle Maud. Isn't that exciting? Their reading club is helping me find stories. Some of their stories are truly tremendous. Mr. Mays is almost done, with the help of Will, of course. Anyways, wish me luck, please, and goodbye, Diary. Wow, Mom works slowly. So, William. Dear Diary, it's Myrtle, and I'm scared. Today I'm getting married to William. I'm nervous. At this point, I'm beyond nervous. I passed nervous last night. I'm terrified. It's not that I don't love him, because I definitely do. With all my heart, I love William Newton, but I'm scared and I don't know why. Is this bad? I want to be confident, but no, I'm sitting in my bedroom in a wedding dress, talking to a diary like I'm 15 again. I thought life would get less stressful, but 24 doesn't seem any easier than 14. But I know marrying Will, the love of my life, will make my life so much brighter. So, I'm trying to be brave. For me and for William. Goodbye, Diary. Thank you. Wow. I can't believe she married Will before Mom. Dear Diary, it's Myrtle. The books are going excellently with help from William. I'm thinking of finding a publisher to help publish Mr. Mays. Or maybe self-publishing is the way to go. I'm not sure yet. I still need to talk to Nicholas. He's been giving me advice since he is a full publisher now. I'm so proud of my baby brother. Also, a fun thing to add, Will and I might be getting a cat to celebrate my 28th birthday. Nicholas suggested I name the cat Molly. I like that name. It's cute and short. I'll suggest to Will that we name the cat Julie. I think he'll be just as fond of that name as I was. The people down at the reading club keep suggesting stories to add to the book that I might as well make another. I do adore their stories, though. Anyways, thank you for the time, diary. I'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye. Wait. Oh my god. I'm named after her old cat? Dear diary, it's Myrtle. I found the diary on the shelf while cleaning. It's fun to see how optimistic I was back when I was young. But now that I'm older, I see life is more difficult than I first thought. I'd like to tell young Myrtle she'll make many mistakes, and not to dwell on them for too long. Find younger me thought about mistakes for too long. If I did that, I'd never do anything else. Anyways, back to what I was doing. Diary, I need to tell you something that I suppose you don't know. My life has changed. I'm no longer with William, and I'm living in New York. At 15, I never thought I'd be here. At 32, this is my reality. The books are doing all right. The collection of fairy tales is finally going somewhere, but no publisher wants Mr. Mays. It's quite demeaning when no one wants your art, the one you spent your life on. It's difficult, but I'm trying not to lose hope on the book. Anyways, thanks for finding me, diary. Goodbye. Talk to you soon. Wow, I'm almost like a serious pessimist. Hope I'm not like that when I get older.
Enter Myrtle, who takes the diary and starts reading.
Dear diary, it's Myrtle again. Dear diary, it's been a while. I'm 60 now, and life is going well. The books are finally selling after so much hard work. My cats are doing well, the house is beautiful as ever, and my wife and daughter are as happy as ever. Life has changed so much for me, and this diary has been through all of it. Isn't that weird? I've had this 45 years. That's longer than I've had so many things, so many important things. Don't you find you don't miss things until they're gone? Anyways, yes, I've remarried. Her name is Eleanor. We've been together for 20 years, and our daughter Julie is turning 15 this year. I'm thinking of giving her this diary for a birthday present. I think she'd like that. A book,
A hope,
a piece of progress,
a love,
a panic,
a family,
a loss,
a happy ending. Dear diary, it's Julie.
Next up, we'll be reading Samantics by Alex Dawson. Characters. Sam, female, 15 years old. Samantha, female, 12 years old. Two identical beds sit opposite each other. These are two different bedrooms. One of them belongs to Samantha and the other to Sam. Samantha's looks like a preteen's room. There are Harry Potter and Star Wars posters on the wall. She has a few old teddy bears scattered on the bed and a variety of drawing materials lying on the floor. It has a very optimistic and innocent vibe. Sam's room has the same setup as Samantha's, but it is more mature. There's a pride flag on the side of her bulletin board. The room is messy and looks lived in. There are no longer posters on the wall. Schoolwork has replaced the drawing materials, and there's only one teddy bear on the bed. Sam bursts into her room, very clearly annoyed.
There is no reason I need to clean my room. It's not that messy, and I have better things to do.
She starts to clean her room, throwing things out of her way as she goes. Sam plays I Want to Break Free by Queen on her phone and starts picking things up from the floor, dancing as she goes. When the first chorus comes on, she mouths the words. On the line, "You're so self-satisfied, I don't need you," she trips and falls, hitting her hand on a box under the bed. Sam pulls it out and starts to rifle through things. Inside, there are old school assignments and cards, as well as a very colorful brochure for a gay straight alliance. She picks out an old journal, gets up, walks over, and sits down on her bed, cross-legged, turning off the music on the way. She starts flipping through the journal.
God, this is so stupid.
Lights up on the other side of the stage as Samantha skips into the room and sits on her bed. Samantha writes in a journal identical to the one Sam is folding.
Tuesday, March 2nd. My mom says that Brian and I look cute together. I know it's supposed to be a compliment, but it didn't make me feel good. I really like Brian. He's sweet, kind, funny, a little silly. He's so much fun to be around. I really, really, really like him.
Sam rolls her eyes.
I apparently was a pretty dense 12-year-old.
Brian and I are going to a movie on Thursday. I think I'll enjoy myself. I'm going to bed now. Good night.
Sam flips to the next page in the journal while Samantha sits on her bed writing in her copy of the journal.
Thursday, March 4th. Today I went out with Brian. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. We went and got popcorn before the movie. He helped me with the butter machine thingy. He's a really sweet person. But something feels off. We get along really well, but the whole thing doesn't feel right. I mean, it kind of felt like hanging out with my regular friends, but there was an added sort of pressure that I didn't like. And I don't think it's just because we're dating. I don't understand why this whole relationship thing doesn't make me feel nice. There's really not anything to think about though, right? I'm fine. Brian's fine. Everyone is fine.
You're not fine.
Lights go out on Samantha and a spotlight turns on over Sam.
I really should have known. It seems obvious now. There were hints all the way along, like my giant crush on Hermione Granger, book, not movie. Or that time my mom told me about when I was 4. I was playing with Barbies and my parents had friends over. I was planning a wedding and one woman leaned over my shoulder and said, "Oh, you need a Ken doll for that Barbie to marry." I looked down at the 2 Barbies in their wedding dresses and blurted out, "They're marrying each other." I mean, when I was younger, I had crushes on guys, or rather with one guy, but, well, looking back, I probably had bigger ones on girls. When I was in elementary school, I told all my girlfriends that I had a crush on Brian. I even convinced myself that it was true. But looking back, I know now that I liked my best friend Jennifer so much more than Brian.
Lights come back on over Samantha.
Maybe I'm just overreacting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too young to deal with any of this dating stuff.
Samantha sits on her bed, writing in her journal. Sam stands up and stretches, checks her phone, and then goes back to reading it.
Friday, March 19th. I broke up with Brian. I don't know why. He was safe and fun and warm. Maybe it was a mistake to break up with him.
It wasn't a mistake.
But the thing is, I feel a bit better now. Like a weight has been lifted off me. I feel a lot better now.
We hear Sam's name being called off stage.
Oh my God, I'm coming! Ugh!
Samantha puts down the journal and sits on her bed, speaking to herself.
What I need are answers to my questions, like, why is it that I'm uncomfortable with the thought of liking guys? Why doesn't it feel right? I just don't understand why life isn't easy, or why someone can't give me a yes or no answer. If someone gave me an answer, I could just do what I was told. I like instructions. I don't like not knowing what to do. The thing is, I feel like I might not be normal, because I don't think I like people the way I'm supposed to. I wish there was someone to give me some answers. I wish there was someone to talk to.
Samantha pulls out her computer. As she turns it on, the screen is projected to the back wall of the theater so the audience can see what she's doing. She opens the search engine and types in, "Am I gay quiz?" And the options show up, but Samantha picks 5 questions to see if you're gay. Sam stomps into her room.
Well, no, I didn't expect my cereal bowl to walk to the dishwasher by itself, but, thanks for asking.
Sam sits back down on the bed, picking up the journal. A copy of the questions falls out of the journal. Sam unfolds the pages and laughs.
Ah, yes, the gay test. Too bad I didn't know at the time that it was posted by some 20-year-old guy joking around with his friends.
Question 1. Why are you taking this test? I don't know. Really don't think there's a reason. Okay, wait, bored is an option. Oh, no, here, I'll choose I don't know.
Because I found an old journal in a box and my younger self was stupid.
Question 2. What do you want your sexuality to be? Well, I want to be straight because it's normal. Oh, good, that's an option.
Back then, I wanted to be straight because it was easy. Now, I don't know. If I could choose my sexuality, would I change it? What would I want it to be? I just want to be myself.
Question 3. What do you think your sexuality is? Wait, how is this question different from the last one? Well, I think I'm different. I don't know what I am. That's why I'm taking this test. Okay. I'm choosing I don't know.
Pretty sure I'm gay.
Question 4. How often do you think about whether you're gay or not? I don't know, like never. Okay, sometimes, I mean, I don't really want to think about it all that much. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't, except that I'm constantly thinking about it. The thing is, I'm not going to think about any of this after I get the results. This quiz will tell me what I know in my heart, that I'm normal and not wrong. So with that, I'm choosing sometimes. Question 5. What is your favorite color? My favorite color? What does that have to do with anything? My favorite color should make a difference. Okay, purple. Gosh.
This seems reliable.
Results. Man, why is the internet so slow?
There's an awkward pause while the results load. After they load, Samantha reads them out loud and reacts. Sam turns the page to read the results.
Look at that. You took the test and it turns out you're gay.
Yep.
What? What do they mean? You took the test, obviously you're a fag, honey.
And of course, you took the male test.
Anyone taking this test in their free time is gay as can be. Well, people must think this test is trash if this is the result everyone is getting. Stupid print button.
Samantha clearly hits print and scrolls down to read the comments.
Comments. Here's one. Lesbian werewolf wrote, "Wow, I got gay, like that's a surprise." Okay, next one. Oliver Gray said, "This is the truth. If you take the test, you already know." There has to be one comment that says something different. Here. "You sinners deserve eternal damnation?"
The lighting suddenly becomes angry for a beat, then returns to normal. Samantha freezes on stage and takes a shuddering gasp. She lies back on the headboard of her bed and picks up her journal and opens it. She lets out a small scream and throws her journal against the wall, then collapses face first on her pillow, crying.
Well, isn't that the most helpful thing for a young, insecure 12-year-old lesbian to read? Here's the thing. When you're 12 and don't know where to turn, you start looking for easy information. And the internet certainly provides that.
Samantha picks up her journal and sits back down on her bed, writing.
I'm too scared to deal with this part of me. I know that being different in this way is the worst part of myself. I'm disgusted with myself because I'm not normal. How could I possibly ever be okay with what I am?
Wow, that was dramatic. This is heartbreaking and kind of stupid. Truthfully, I don't feel like I identify with you or her or my younger self at all.
Sam flips a few pages further in the journal.
Well, moving on. It really is hard to read this. It seems that all this girl does is hate herself. Also, does she write about anything other than not wanting to be gay? I mean, I remember being stuck on the thought of me being gay until, I don't know, maybe until I joined the GSA. I think finding other people like me, finding a community, boosted my confidence and taught me that I didn't need to define myself solely by my sexuality.
Wednesday, April 8th. I don't want to write this. It's too weird. It's not a big deal, and life can go on as normal. It's absolutely not a big deal, so I'm going to write it down. Spell out the words.
Samantha writes slowly. "I'm gay" is written on a projection on the backstage wall.
See? I did it. No big deal. Doesn't change a thing. No big deal. No big deal.
It is a big deal. You're accepting.
Samantha stays in the same place. Sam has shifted a bit in her bed. She flips a page and then another, looking confused.
Why are all these pages blank and bent?
Samantha starts to cry again and throws the journal forcefully to the ground. It falls open. Sam finally finds a page with writing and starts reading. Samantha paces back and forth in her room during the next scene, talking to herself.
He's so stupid, so damn stupid. You know they'll be fine with it. They take me to the Pride Parade every year, for heaven's sakes. They're gonna hate me. No, shut up. You're being too dramatic.
Samantha takes a deep breath and walks off stage with purpose.
Mom, Dad, I have something I need to tell you.
Lights out on Samantha's bedroom. Sam steps forward to address the audience directly. The following is said slowly. It needs a lot of thought to be said out loud.
So I told them I was gay, and they just said, okay. They barely reacted. It didn't change what they thought of me. They took it in stride. I waited for a reaction I didn't get, which is what I wanted, I suppose. I just felt like I deserved a worse reaction, one reflecting my belief at the time that I was unworthy of being accepted. I was still afraid to tell people. I figured I wasn't going to get a bad reaction because I knew the people I was coming out to. I watched my friends for signs that they would react well, and they proved that they would be allies before I said anything. I probably could have handled coming out better. It didn't really help that I came out to my friends at a burger place. We sat down, and when we were talking about crushes, I piped in with mine, who, of course, was a girl. I was later told by my friend Stella that the elderly couple in the booth next to us was kind of freaking out. I have to say, my friends reacted really well. I will always love them for that. Not one of them acted weirdly around me, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being different.
Sam returns to her bed. As the lights come on, we see Samantha on her bed, face down, crying. Sam is sitting on her own bed, but for the first time in the play, she's looking straight at Samantha. Sam responds with a no-nonsense tone, but she becomes more emotional. Neither character is talking to the other. Rather, Samantha's delivering a monologue and being interrupted by Sam.
I'm never going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
My life is never going to work, and I don't know what to do.
Your life is going to work. You're going to gain confidence and realize that the world is made up of all sorts of people. Some will hate you, some won't. But even if you weren't gay, there would still be people who dislike you because that's life. You will always find people who support you, though.
I can't seem to focus on anything
It
else.
seems right now that being or not being gay is taking up your life. I wish you would stop worrying. But I guess that we become the people we become because of the worries we have and the way that we deal with them. Weird.
Sam slowly stands up and starts walking in Samantha's direction.
I'm never going to be able to do normal things. I won't be able to have kids. I won't be able to be public about my relationships. I won't be able to be happy.
Sam picks up the journal, which is still lying on the floor, and smooths the pages down.
Why did you think that? If, when you're older, you want kids, though I sure don't know why you would, because people who have kids become obsessed with bedroom floors and cereal bowl geography. Then there are options.
Sam puts the journal at the foot of the bed and sits near Samantha's head. She speaks directly to her.
It's true for right now, a public relationship might be a bit much. But when you're older and in a safe place, why couldn't you be public about your relationships? And Samantha, you can't be happy all the time, but you will have tons of things to be happy about. And you know what? I'm happy that I'm gay. It has led me to meet and learn from so many people. It has made my friendships stronger and given me such a different outlook on life. In truth, I might not have the community I have today if I wasn't gay. I wrote in that journal a lot about how we were trash, how we were alone, and how we would always be alone, in more ways than one, because there was no one like us. I wish I could have opened my eyes a lot more. I wish I had really looked at the world around me. Instead of just seeing walls, maybe you and I would have seen opportunities in their place.
Lights dim all around, leaving the stage dark except for a spotlight on Sam.
Now, if only you could hear me.
The end. Thank you, everyone. Next up,
We're gonna wait a second and get Vern in on here.
Okay, we're going to get our dramaturge on the line. But we are going to have a short Q&A talkback session with our playwrights. I'd like to invite Alex and Axel on stage if you are willing to answer some questions.
Axel's a busy guy.
You don't have to, certainly. It's completely voluntary.
Can you hear us, Vern?
Do you just want the playwrights or do you want the actors?
Well, I think I hear him.
Just playwrights?
1 second, Vern. Sorry, we can't hear you. We're just gonna drop out of the stream one moment, folks. Let's go full screen over here. Play capture.
Let me know when we're good to go, Trent, and I'll start.
Will do. Just one moment, just getting you set up over here on the stream. And get you turned around so they can see you. There we go. Alright, Vern, we should be live. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, what I want to say first of all is congratulations to these playwrights, and I have to say that when I heard applause from the live audience, I nearly jumped out of my chair. It was like, wow, I haven't heard that in months, and I was so excited by that. Well, what I want to say first of all is congratulations to these playwrights, and I have to say that when I heard applause from the live audience, I nearly jumped out of my chair. It was like, wow, I haven't heard that in months, and I was so excited. So I have questions for Axel and Alex, and I know there might be a delay from when I'm speaking and when you're hearing it, just because of the technology. So Trent, just to let you know, I'm actually turning off my sound, so and just speaking, and hopefully everything will come out fine. So Axel, I'm going to ask you first. How did it feel to hear your play out loud?
Very spooky.
Vern, we're still getting a playback from you. Are you able to either close out of the live stream on YouTube or mute your YouTube feed? Sorry folks, 1 second, just waiting for the stream to catch up to us. Excellent. Vern, do you want to repeat your question to Axel there, perhaps?
Sure. Axel, I just wanted to know how it felt to hear your play out loud. What were the feelings that were going through you as you listened to your own play?
I was really nervous, but it was exciting because I don't think I actually got to hear someone else read it. So that was kind of my first time hearing someone else read it, I think. Yeah. Bad memory.
That's awesome. Alex, I want to know from you, what were some of the challenges that you had in writing this play?
Okay, there were a lot. Well, one of the main challenges was that it was a story that was very, very close to my heart, and so rewriting all that stuff was just so emotionally draining that after months of rewriting, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But it was such a great experience that it kind of, I have no words. As a playwright, I have no words to speak with. It was challenging to write a story that was so close to my heart, but it paid off in the end, and it was a great experience.
Axel, what inspired you to write this play?
Well, I think the morning before I wrote it, my dad was doing a reading of a play that I really liked, and then I got bored in the evening and decided to write.
That's great. That's great that writing a play came out of boredom. I love that. Alex, I noticed that you did quite a bit of changes even since the last time that we spoke in the play. And I'm wondering if you can just give us, as an audience, a little snapshot of what it's like to do rewrites on your play and what that process is like.
Sure. So whenever I had a session with you, or whenever I finished a draft, I would sit with that draft and just reread it so many times. And I would go through and just pick out the lines that felt kind of off or didn't work for a character, and just try and make it work so that it felt like the character was actually going to say that in real life. So that was a big change that I wanted to make, was making sure that it felt like the character was going to say that. And then I tried to keep the play as light as possible, because I did find that writing about this topic was really hard. And so having that little, oh, I don't want to clean my room, I don't want to do the dishes, helped, putting those in helped elevate the play to something that I could laugh at.
That's great. I want to ask the audience some questions now. I'm not that basically translate the answers in some way, shape, or form, but I'd love to know from the audience that is there, what was the one thing that really you loved about each of these plays? What was the one thing that will kind of stick with you for both Axel and Alex's plays? I wonder if I can leave that question with you. And then the second question, while you're mulling over that one, is I would love to know from the audience how you would describe each of these plays in a word. What would be the one thing that would sum up each of these plays for you in a word? A description of them, or a feeling that you got, or something in a word that would really wrap up what the whole play was for you, each of them. So I'll go back to the first question. What was something that you loved about each of these plays? Do we have somebody there who can moderate this?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you.
Well, my answer kind of goes for both questions, because it's what I like, but also what I found, well, the one word I think would describe both plays, and that's it. They were both really, really honest. They both felt like they came directly from the heart and had a lot of feeling and didn't like beat around the bush or anything. So I really, really enjoyed that.
Alex's play, basically what she said, that she balanced like a really serious and heartfelt subject matter but with humor, and so in a way that it was really accessible, but it really seemed to be sort of serious and have a weighty subject matter. I thought you balanced that as well.
I didn't answer both questions. I wouldn't think both of where you're taking us with approach of the wiser self looking back and reflecting on and giving the words of encouragement that they needed to hear at that time almost, kind of get them through the next stage.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do a one-word story. I'll do a journey.
Journey.
Cool. So they're both traveling through their lives, you know? They're both getting to where they're gonna go. Either that's a better, like, happier place, or either that's getting their books published in school. I heard this stuff.
Yes.
What I really liked about Axel's play was sort of that that this character was seeing their mother's old journal, but it was at different periods in her life. So we got to see her process throughout these different stages of her journey almost.
In her entire journey, yeah.
And what I really liked about Alex's play was just sort of the this is returning to what she said earlier, but like the honest emotions that came across through the play, and even though it was lighthearted, you definitely felt like this character was sort of going on like sort of this journey of like self-discovery and reevaluating what they think of themselves. And it was a very touching story to see through this medium.
Absolutely, thank you.
That's great. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
I really like that both of these plays, like first they kind of deal with this sort of like temporal wall between either a mother and a daughter or a present self and a past self. And I feel like that's something that's really fun to play with, and it can bring about a lot of ways to see the connections between the two. And they're both very emotional plays that are wonderful to work with as an actor, and they're both, despite their seriousness, very, very fun.
Is there anybody else? Oh, yeah.
Just to mention that I found that both, they have a very positive message about the future. We don't know what's coming, but this tells us that, hang on, it's going to be fun.
It's going to get a lot better.
That was really
That's great. We have a couple minutes left, so I'd like to maybe open it up to any questions that the audience has. And a reminder to keep the questions, simple and positive, and or maybe try to, because I'm not connected to the live feed anymore, I don't know what's going on over there. If there's some requests or questions or answers to some of these questions that are happening on the YouTube channel, you might want to type in. But I'll ask anybody who's there to moderate any questions from the audience for our two fantastic young writers.
Do we have any questions on the stream right now?
No questions on the stream just yet, or is there? There's multiple statements. Yeah, no questions on the streams just yet.
Questions from the audience? Anything?
How long did it take you to write the plays?
Me? Both of you. I think both of you should answer. That's important.
The first time I wrote it, maybe like an hour or two, and then like 15 minutes because I know bad choices and I didn't decide to really look at it. So that would not recommend.
Well, I started writing in January and didn't finish writing until May, maybe, and then I rewrote from there. Think that's
We do have a question from the stream. What do you wish to write about next?
I don't know. I had an idea about like a ship that was inspired by the Phantom Ship song, so I might try and work on that.
cool. I've got a play that I'm working on called Noise that was in the festival last year, and I'm going back to it trying to revamp that one. And then I've also got like this idea in the back of my mind, something off Greek mythology. Getting there, I can pick it out. We'll see what happens.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Oh, go ahead, Trent.
One last one here from the stream. Has theater being online made you rethink how you're going to approach writing plays?
Next time I would definitely take more time since it, again, bad choices, and I spent like 2 hours on it.
Theater being online is such a weird experience, and it's definitely made me think about ways to use video and camera in a space like the black box, right, or like the open space theater, because I don't like being on screen. I don't like being filmed. I don't like doing Zoom. Not my thing. But it is a cool idea to think about. Like, how would you use a camera in a stage type experience? So it's definitely something I'll think about in the future.
Well, I guess we should wrap it up because we have another play that we're going to want to listen to shortly. And so I just want you all to give a fantastic another round of applause to these great young writers. Congratulations.
Perfect. Thank you, folks. We will be back here live in about 5 minutes.
When I was a kid, my aunt used to make apple pies on the last day of every month. Her celebration of making it through another 4 weeks on the planet. And they were fucking good. The perfect balance of cinnamon contrasted by the sweetness of the apple. The pie crust baked to perfection. And if you add a scoop of ice cream or whipped cream, well, now we're talking. But she died before she could tell me the recipe. I tried to recreate it, but to no avail. I can't replicate it. That pie was entirely her own. In many ways, it was her. Her apple pies told the story of her life. Food carries stories. Apples carry stories. I have all the ingredients, but do I make an apple pie? Sky? Out of the apples from your tree? In hopes that I can tell your story, or rather, you can tell it yourself.
I want someone to settle down with, but I don't. I want someone to love me for a long time, but I don't. My desires, they change with the wind. They're not constant. They contradict one another. I guess I've always had a thing for daddies. Older men, but not too old, like mid-30s, with a beard, rough around the edges. Someone who everyone says that I shouldn't want. Maybe he's a construction worker or a businessman, something somewhat stable. But I also like the artsy type too. Sensitive, the starving poet look. Someone who probably smokes too many cigarettes and drinks way too much coffee for his own good, and way more than he can afford. I want to inhale their coffee-tainted breath. I want to taste the tar on their tongue as they kiss me. I want them to pollute me. Tinder, Grindr, Bumble, Scruff. It's a collection of men in my hand. And the list goes on and on. It's infinite. It has no end. Each man is different in their own way, and something in me wants to meet all of them, but another part of me wants nothing to do with any of them. It's kind of like an ice cream shop. You initially try one flavor, and suddenly every time you go back, you want to try some other flavor. Something, someone you haven't tried yet. Everybody's a different flavor. Everyone provides something